Hello and welcome everyone to a very special session at IGDC 2021. My name is Ayush Elavadi and you might have seen me on TV. You might have seen me doing weird things on a football field or geeking it out on a podcast, and sometimes whilst you're Netflixing and chilling, if that's a thing. But today I am doing something that I'm very passionate about, which is curating and hosting a session for IGDC, which is very close to my heart. It's all about esports. We're going to talk about gaming, and more specifically, we're going to talk about a career in esports. Is it a legitimate thing? For that, I can't do this alone, because as much as us television presenters like talking to a camera alone, there is a stellar panel with me. I'm going to take quick names and then I'm going to hand it over to them to give a 10-second elevator introduction, boys. Vishwalok Nath, Mamba, of course we have Ronnie, Total Gaming, who we have to, sort of conjure some sort of image for, and we'll be joined later by Pranav as well. Vishwalok, let's start off with you. Can you start with the introductions and then we'll hand it over to the rest of us?
Yeah, sure. So guys, hi, my name is Vishwalok. I represent India Today Gaming, which is a part of India Today Group. As a company, we have done around 6 events till now. The biggest event that we have done is called Esports Premier League, which recently got concluded. That was the first ever IPL format esports tournament for Free Fire. And now we are doing World Esports Cup, whereby we have teams from India, Pakistan and Nepal, right? And there are huge career opportunities that we would be talking about. So that's it for now. Yeah.
Over to you, Ranjit.
Lads, most of you guys know me as a commentator or a caster for some really popular titles. We talk about Free Fire, Counter-Strike, and a couple of other FPS games. But I've been involved in the gaming in the esports industry for the past 15 years. And you've probably seen me around somewhere.
Absolutely. Ronnie Dasgupta, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Ronnie and I'm very bad with introductions. और after hearing my fellow panelists here, मुझे थोड़ा शर्म आ रहा है introduce करने को, मैं बहुत गंदा हूँ introduction में. So I am a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos on gaming, comedy and कभी कोई live stream भी कर लेता हूँ मैं.
सब जानते हैं रोनी भाई, रोनी गेम्स को सब जानते हैं. And of course, just like you, we have an absolute OG, OP, GOAT, whatever you want to call this gentleman, Ajju bhai. Welcome to this session.
अरे थैंक यू. और गाइज आप में से बहुत सारे, मतलब ज्यादातर लोगों ने नहीं, किसी ने नहीं देखा होगा, बट आप लोगों ने मुझे सुना होगा. मैं यूट्यूब पे गेमिंग करता हूँ, लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग करता हूँ फ्री फायर की, और उसके अलावा बहुत सारी गेम जो पीसी गेम्स होती है, GTA, फिर माइनक्राफ्ट, ये सब गेम्स खेलता रहता हूँ. तो आपने कहीं ना कहीं पे मुझे सुना होगा, बट देखा नहीं होगा, बट सुना जरूर होगा.
ठीक है अज्जू भाई, अगर लकी शायद अगर हम If we have the good fortune, आपका चेहरा भी देख लेंगे आज. पता नहीं गलती से आपने अगर टर्न ऑन वीडियो कर दिया, कुछ कर दिया, तो शायद हमको कुछ ऐसा मौका मिलेगा. लेकिन I want to start off by asking you, Pranav Panpalia, he's going to be joining us in a bit as well. लेकिन अज्जू भाई, मैं आपसे शुरुआत करना चाहता हूँ. You are quite the legend in the gaming space. मतलब आप बहुत humble हो और आपने बोला कि नहीं यार, लोग मुझे पहचानते नहीं है रोनी जैसे, लेकिन आपको लोग पहचानते हैं. शायद आपका चेहरा आज तक पहचानते नहीं है, लेकिन आपको तो जानते हैं सब. अज्जू भाई को, अज्जू भाई वर्सेस अमित भाई को तो मैं भी जानता हूँ. मैंने तो बहुत शॉर्ट्स और रील्स भी देखे हैं. लेकिन ये जो आपका करियर था ई स्पोर्ट्स और जो आपका पूरा सफर था इस गेमिंग इंडस्ट्री में, इसकी शुरुआत कब हुई और कैसे हुई?
गेमिंग की शुरुआत मतलब मैं गेमिंग में ना, सच बताऊं तो 2.5 साल पहले आया. उससे पहले मैंने कभी भी गेमिंग नहीं करी हुई है. जैसे पहली टाइम मैंने गेमिंग करी, आप बोल सकते हो क्लैश ऑफ क्लैंस करके एक गेम थी 2015 के टाइम पे, जब कॉलेज मतलब ऑलमोस्ट खत्म वगैरह होने वाला था, तब आया था. और क्लास में सभी लोग गेम खेल रहे हैं और मेरे को गेम बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं. तो ऐसा था कि सबको गेम खेलना है और कोई भी आके मोबाइल में डाउनलोड करके चला गया, कुछ उसके अंदर फाइट करनी रहती है, कुछ ना कुछ चलता रहता है उन लोगों का. तो उस टाइम पे मेरे मोबाइल में गेम्स थी, बट मैंने बहुत कम खेली हुई और मेरे को गेम समझ भी नहीं आती थी. और रिसेंट टाइम में 2018 के एंडिंग में मैं इसी ऑफिस में बैठा हुआ था और एक भाई आए और वो फ्री फायर खेल रहे थे. तो मैंने देखा कि क्या कर रहे हो, तो बोले मैं फ्री फायर खेल रहा हूँ. तो उस टाइप से मैंने फ्री फायर फिर डाउनलोड किया. और गूगल का एल्गोरिदम ऐसी काम करता है कि जो चीज आप करते हो वो आपको दिखाता है. तो मेरे को यूट्यूब पे गया तो मेरे को फ्री फायर का लाइव स्ट्रीम दिखाया, वो और कोई बंदा लाइव कर रहा है और उसको गेम खेल रहा है और 300-400 लोग देख रहे हैं. और यहाँ पे घर पे अपन लोग गेम खेले तो सभी लोग चिल्लाना स्टार्ट कर दे आसपास, भाई बंद कर गेम पूरा दिन, ये वो. जब खेला सिर्फ 1 ही मिनट होता है, बट ये सब सुनने को मिलता है. और उसको 300-400 लोग देख रहे हैं और वो भाई मतलब मजे से गेम खेल रहे. तो उसे देख के मैंने सोचा कि चलो करते हैं. और इंटरनेट भी अच्छा था, तो मेरा कोई ऐसा नहीं था कि अपन को यूट्यूबर या गेमर बनना ही है। बट जब तक कोइंसिडेंस ऐसा था कि जब तक मेरी आंखें खुली है, कि आप इस टाइप से आप बोल सकते हो कि जब मेरे को पता लगा कि यूट्यूब आगे कंटिन्यू करना चाहिए, तब तक मेरे कुछ ज्यादा ही सब्सक्राइबर्स वगैरह हो चुका था। तो मेरे लिए पूरा कोइंसिडेंस है। और उस टाइप से गेमिंग स्टार्ट हुई। उसके बाद काफी सारे लोगों ने मुझे बोला कि यार स्पोर्ट्स खेलो, बट स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर आपको डॉक्यूमेंट्स देने होते हैं, फेस रिवील करना पड़ता है, फेस दिखाना पड़ता है, जो मेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा। तो मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना जो प्लेयर खेल रहे हैं उनको अपन लोग सपोर्ट करें, क्योंकि उन लोगों को गेम खेलनी है। बट कुछ लोग ऐसे थे कि जो फाइट कर रहे थे कि यार इससे कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, हम स्पोर्ट्स खेल रहे हैं, कोई फायदा है नहीं, घर वाले मतलब मना कर रहे हैं, और प्लेयर बहुत सही थे। तो मैंने सोचा कि चलो इन लोगों को अपॉर्चुनिटी देते हैं, और उस टाइप से मैं स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर भी आ गया। और स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर हम लोगों ने ऑफिशियल टूर्नामेंट में टोटल गेमिंग ने सबसे ज्यादा ऑफिशियल जो आती है वो टूर्नामेंट जीती हुई है।
अजू भाई एक बात बताओ, लेकिन ये जो आप अपना चेहरा नहीं दिखाते, ये आप शर्माते हो या कुछ सस्पेंस बड़ा कुछ रिवील करने वाले हो कुछ महीनों में, कुछ दिनों में? ये क्या है? ये कुछ सोशल मीडिया स्ट्रेटजी है?
नहीं, मेरा मेन वो था ही नहीं। मतलब जब मैं गेमिंग में आया था, तब मैं सोचता हूँ कि यार मैं गेमिंग में आया तब मेरा एम ये नहीं था कि मेरे को पॉपुलर होना है या फिर पैसे कमाने, वो सब एम नहीं था। तो लाइक मैंने यूट्यूब चैनल भी बहुत देर बाद मोनेटाइजेशन मतलब ऑन किया था, और फिर फेस रिवील की जब बात आती तब मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि यार यहाँ पे सिर्फ मैं वो करने के लिए मतलब मजे करने के लिए आया, तो मजे ही करता, और फेस रिवील की जरूरत है नहीं। और पैसे का तो ऐसा है कि मतलब पैसे कमा रहे हैं तो फिर वो स्पोर्ट्स में डाल भी रहे, क्योंकि पैसे पहले से ही है अपने पास थोड़े बहुत। तो ये यूट्यूब इस वजह से ही मैं आया कि लोगों को हेल्प करे या फिर ऐसे ही चलता रहे, इसलिए फेस रिवील का कोई प्लान नहीं किया है मैंने।
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। लेकिन ये आप तो फिर मार्क ज़करबर्ग के दोस्त होंगे, बिकॉज़ मार्क ज़करबर्ग is planning to take all of us into the metaverse with virtual avatars very soon. But someone who reveals his face and who's got a lovely background and a face to show for it is Ronnie. Ronnie, welcome to the session. Has your journey been similar as well, Ronnie, in terms of getting into it? How did you become, well, a streamer and an esports athlete? Is that something you aspired to do over the years?
So I'm not an esports athlete. How I got into it is it's very different from Ajju bhai. For me, it was I always loved to play games, and in 2017, I had another YouTube channel, The Ronnie Show. So there was a time when I was like 21 years old, and मेरी पूरी फैमिली एक्सपेक्ट करी कि मैं जॉब करूंगा, and at that time मैं जॉब नहीं करके घर बैठ के YouTube पे वीडियोस बना रहा हूँ. I was making funny videos, roast videos and all kind of videos. So I love to play games. और YouTube पे मैं वीडियोस बना रहा हूँ. So मेरे मम्मी पापा को दिख रहा है कि YouTube पे वीडियोस बना रहा है, उस पे वो कुछ तो चल रहा है, पैसे नहीं आ रहे पर चल रहा है, कुछ तो हो रहा है. So how do I play games now? Because I can't play games. वो घर पे बैठ जाऊंगा मैं. So I started this new channel called the Ronnie Games. सिर्फ गेम खेलने के लिए, सो आई कैन शो देम कि देखो मैं यूट्यूब पे कर रहा हूँ, मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं यूट्यूब पे कुछ तो कर रहा हूँ. सो द रॉनी गेम्स एक्चुअली स्टार्टेड आउट एज अ रीजन कि मुझे गेम खेलने में रात को बैठ के, एंड देन सरप्राइजिंगली इट टर्न्ड आउट टू बी द बिगर चैनल देन माय फर्स्ट चैनल दैट आई हैड.
Which year was this?
This was 2017.
So that was around the time when there was a big boom. I remember on India Today, we actually had Adi Sawant, and then we also had Mortal.
No, this was way before. This was way before any
and
of this.
All of them mentioned that there's a watershed moment for all of them. You know, Ajju bhai was mentioning, but so this was a transition from your, roast vlogs and stuff like that, and you moved into gaming.
No,
but you
not
were
a
passionate
transition.
about it. But you were passionate about gaming.
Gaming,
also?
yeah. Gaming. So I am playing games. I don't even know since when. Matlab, can't even. I don't even remember. I don't have any memories since I've been a kid. So it was not like a transition कि I did something here, अभी यहाँ पे नया switch करते थे. It was like this channel was growing, and at the same time I started this other channel.
Interesting. Now Vishwalok Nath is also joining us, and Vishwalok, obviously you've been working on franchises like the ESPL, and now you've got this World Cup like tournament going as well. You were one of the pioneers in this space, right? So if I have to build a career in esports, and I'm watching Ajju bhai and the like, and we're going to come to Mamba as well, how do I go about it? Is it just, okay, I have to become, well, a streamer or then an esports athlete? Are there other avenues available to me?
There are multiple avenues, right? Obviously, an esports athlete and the streamers and the shoutcasters are the ones which are most visible, right? People see them like, playing, and, they are always in front of the camera, right? And it's one of the most glamorous things. Like, look at Ronnie. I mean, in the panel, and Mamba. I mean, both of them are looking so glamorous. And talking about Ajju Bhai, I mean, even if he's not revealing his face, and he's like, one of the biggest kind of streamers, right? So obviously, these are the most sought after career opportunities. But in esports, there are multiple more things that needs to be done. Like, you need to be doing production, you need to be being a social media manager, you need to be a community manager, you can be a marketing manager, you can be the admins. There are so many opportunities which are there. Like, for example, if you would have seen the production quality of ESPL, right? The complete studio was a 3D setup, right? It was, everything was virtual, right? So somebody would have created that, right? Somebody is managing it, and while the tournaments are happening, I mean, as I told you that in ESPL, we got more than 1 million registration and 100 million plus video views. So these millions of people, when they are participating, when they are playing, there are admins who are keeping a watch on them, that everything is happening perfectly. So we have recently advertised around 20 plus positions in India Today Gaming, and none of the positions are of streamer or athlete. All the positions are of either a community manager or a social media manager or a marketing guy or an editorial person, or a 3D graphics or a graphics designer. So there are so many more opportunities which are there, because it's a complete industry in itself, right? It needs to be managed in such a manner. So that is what, like, the opportunities are immense.
Absolutely. I want to come to Ranjit, or should we say Mamba. Ranjit, love the hairdo. You're killing it with that. And this is an education for me as well, because I myself am a broadcaster, I am a podcaster, but you're a shoutcaster. So you've got to tell me a little bit more about it, and for our larger audience, and how lucrative is that as a career option?
Okay, so first of all, let's just get this out of the way. So there's a lot of confusion on this term itself. So I saw this recently. So shoutcaster is the term, ladies and gentlemen. There's no other term for it. But how lucrative is this? Very, because look, the thing is, there's a lot of glamour in it. There's, you're the face of the show. There are a lot of responsibilities as well. But what a lot of people don't seem to realize is that there's a lot that goes on behind the camera for this. While you might look at certain talents, who are on the top, you call them the A-list, right? So the biggest events that happen in the country across the globe. But unless you get to that point, it's a bit of a journey. So it is very lucrative, sure, but unless you're there in the top 1%, it's going to be a little tough out there, at least right now. Because I still feel the industry is in a very nascent stage right now. Opportunities are immense. If you have the skill, you don't have to worry about making a living out of this. You can easily make a living out of this. You need the dedication, passion, and the skill, which is the most important thing, because opportunities are endless.
See, Ranjit, like you said, it's nascent at this point. So if you could tell us very quickly, and this would be, very telling for the audience as well, how did you get into this space? Had you set out in your career initially wanting to do something in the media and entertainment space, and then this industry was booming and there was a great fit? How did it work?
This is quite a funny story, actually. So I did not ever like FPS games, which are regarded as first-person shooters. I was always into racing games and whatnot. And I got a PlayStation 2 back in, I believe, 2005. I don't remember when it was released. I remember having Euro 2004 as a game, so I'm assuming around the same time. But I was 12 years old when, not even 12 as a matter of fact, I was 10 years old when I first got introduced to Counter-Strike. And that was a gift from my brother. But I started playing it gradually. And then I discovered the online world, started making friends, and then realized, hey man, you know what? Friends can compete. So back in the day, we played purely out of passion and sheer rebelliousness, because look, gaming was always looked down upon. When we started off, there was no scene. It would just be community tournaments or cafe tournaments. You would be the best in your area. There were no proper tournaments. India, forget about it. Globally, sure, there were a lot of tournaments like WCG and whatnot. But India was not a scene. I remember YouTube as well, right? I started that as a joke. Remember my first video was in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. I was 12 years old. And one thing led to the other. I never really thought of becoming an esports professional. but it's just a cascading effect. You meet people, things happen, and somehow I ended up over here.
It's fascinating. You mentioned how earlier it was looked down upon and things changed. And yes, I was also from the same generation where we used to play Counter-Strike in the cafes, and I remember the Untitled map and whatnot and all the stuff we've done back in the day. But Ajju bhai, I want to ask you one thing. अब जब बोलते हैं ना इसकी कि ये गेमर है यार, मतलब जब मैं डायनामो गेमिंग से भी बात कर रहा था कुछ महीने पहले, वही बोलता था कि भाई ये गेमर है. एक बार वो बताता है कि उसको एक फोन आया और घर पे उसके पापा ने फोन उठाया और उन्होंने बोला कि आप डायनामो के फादर हो, और उसके लिए वो उसको उस वक्त बहुत बहुत गर्व महसूस हुआ. तो दैट वाज हिज वाटरशेड मोमेंट. व्हेन डू पेरेंट्स स्टार्ट एक्सेप्टिंग दैट दिस इज अ प्रॉपर करियर, कि मेरा बेटा ई स्पोर्ट्स में पैसे भी बना सकता है, नाम शोहरत सब कुछ कर सकता है और एक अकम्प्लिश्ड इंडिविजुअल बन सकता है?
तो मतलब अभी ऐसा है कि लाइक मेरे को तो ऐसा कोई सीन नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि पापा को कोई कॉल कर सकता है वगैरह, तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि लाइक फेस रिवील ही नहीं है, तो किसी को पता ही नहीं कि ये इनका लड़का है वगैरह वगैरह. तो वो तो मतलब मेरे लिए कोई ऐसा मोमेंट है ही नहीं. लाइक जैसे कौन कॉल करेगा मेरे को कि भाई
कॉल तो नहीं करेगा भाई, पर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि फिर ये जब समाज जो देखता है ये बोलता है कि गेमिंग में क्यों घुस रहे हैं ये लोग. मतलब मम्मी डैडी तो वो सोचते होंगे ना पहले, मतलब आपके भाई लोग, आपके दोस्त लोग, अमित भाई जो भी हैं आपकी कम्युनिटी में, क्या उनको ये थोड़ा सा वहम होता है कि नहीं यार गेमिंग में क्यों जा रहे हैं, कुछ करें, कोडिंग करें, कंप्यूटर एप्लीकेशन इंजीनियरिंग करें, कुछ ढंग का करें, गेमिंग क्यों? क्योंकि लोगों को इसका पोटेंशियल आज तक नहीं पता. हम एक छोटी कम्युनिटी है टेक और गेमिंग की.
और इसके रिगार्डिंग ऐसा है ना कि गेमिंग इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है. मतलब पहली वो, और लाइक आप जो कोडिंग वगैरह करते हो तो, और मेरा मेन प्रोफेशन कोडिंग का ही है. लाइक मैं कोडिंग वगैरह कर चुका हूँ, तो लाइक जो अपन को पसंद है वो चीज करनी चाहिए. और घर वाले सपोर्ट गेमिंग को इसीलिए नहीं करते क्योंकि वहां पे कोई फायदा है नहीं. और मेरा भी पहले सोच वही था, मैं झूठ नहीं बोलूंगा. जैसे मम्मी पापा का होता है कि यार गेम खेल के क्या ही होता, और मैं अपने दोस्तों को भी वही बोलता था कि भाई गेम खेल के कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, पढ़ाई लिखाई कर लेते हैं, प्रोजेक्ट मिला है ये प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट करते, उसके बाद रफा दफा होते यहाँ से और अच्छी जगह पे जॉब वॉब कर लेंगे या कुछ कर लेंगे. ऐसा मेरा भी वही था. बट जैसे जैसे टाइम जाता है अपन गेमिंग करते हैं, तो अभी मेरे को भी पहले नहीं पता था कि इतना ज्यादा गेमिंग में पोटेंशियल है. बट अभी लास्ट 1 साल से मुझे भी पता लगा कि गेमिंग में इतना सारा पोटेंशियल है. लाइक गेमिंग के अंदर बहुत सारे करियर अपॉर्चुनिटी है. और लाइक मैं ई स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर आया, फिर मैंने ई स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर टूर्नामेंट करी. अब ई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर को अपन लोग वो दे रहे हैं, मौका दे रहे हैं, तो उनके लिए एक जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी हुई. फिर ई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर के पीछे कोई उसके लिए एक मैनेजर लगेगा, वो मैनेजर को अपन लोग काम दे रहे हैं. फिर बहुत सारी चीजें जैसे टूर्नामेंट करते हैं तो उसके अंदर डिजाइनर हो गए, फिर जो सेट वगैरह जैसे अपने विश्वास भाई ने बोले वैसे, तो बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटी है. और जैसे जैसे टाइम जाएगा वैसे वैसे पता लगेगा और भी पोटेंशियल पता लगेगा. अभी मैं बहुत ज्यादा नहीं समझ पाया हूँ, बट यार जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे और भी समझेंगे और देखेंगे.
Before we go forward, I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but I'd like to take up this question because this is something that I've seen very up close and personal. I've had anecdotes where I've had to sneak and play, but I'll tell you this is something I've noticed across families, right? It's not just an individual case with me. Any parent wants a child to be safe and successful. Nobody wants to wander off into the unknown territory. And for a lot of parents, gaming is so new, right? But if you can manage to explain the fundamental idea of a business, you have an audience. Any tournament that happens, I'm talking purely from the esports perspective right now. So imagine you have a tournament, you have 100,000 people watching. That's a potential opportunity for revenue to generate. If you can explain that bit to your parents, and I still remember 2014 ESL One Katowice. I remember showing that after movie to my parents and I cried. I'm like, this is what I want to do. And I can't seem to explain this to you, but do you understand? Imagine cricket. Why is cricket so popular and why are athletes paid so much? Because they bring in the numbers, they bring in the audience, they bring in the revenue. If you can explain the same thing with regards to gaming to your parents will at least understand how does the business work, because the most fundamental thing that parents do not seem to understand is where does the money come from.
Correct.
If you can explain that, then you can take care of the stigma later on. But any parent, right, is not going to let you be in a territory which is not so well understood. And that's the reason why there's this reservation. They want you to be safe and successful, but that's where you have to sit down and have a dialogue with your parents.
It's very interesting, Mamba, that you say that, because for me, I'll give you an example. I came from law school, but I was always fascinated by tech. I moved into the content world, coming from a modern family here in Bombay, but even then, I had to explain to them how the content world works. When I quit my job and I started vlogging on YouTube and Instagram, explaining the algorithm to them wasn't easy. So that bit that you're saying, you put it really well, but it's a tough conversation to have with mom.
I would like to add one thing here, since Mamba talked about cricket and we are talking esports. So I believe it's a very good example to give, Mamba, and because cricket is something which is like the most followed game in the country, and it's like a religion in the country. But if we do a bit of a comparison, the Cricket World Cup, which is the biggest cricketing tournament, has a prize pool of close to around $15 million, whereas the Fortnite World Cup has a prize pool of $30 million, and the Dota 2 tournament has a prize pool of $40 million. And talking about the viewership again, the IPL T20, the finals had a viewership of around 31.5 million people, whereas the League of Legends 2019, the viewership was 100 million with 44 million concurrent, right? So, globally, if you see, gaming is actually, taking the lead over all the traditional games.
That's true.
And cricket cricket was and is definitely is most followed game because we have played cricket in our childhood, and that is the reason today we watch cricket. But if you see this generation, people like Ajju Bhai or Ronnie or Mamba, and kids who are like 15-18-year-old, like we have seen a lot of participation from kids who are like 15-year-old, right? And these kids, they don't even watch cricket so much. They for them, their heroes are like the ones who are sitting in our panel, right? They know the rules of the game in esports, in gaming, right? So all the brands, the broadcasters, they would be putting all the money behind these games now. Mm-hmm. So in next few years' time, you'll actually see a flip happening, whereby when this generation is being targeted, all the broadcasters, everything start putting money behind them, then these games become so big. And that is the reason India Today Gaming is coming up with formats like ESPL and World Esports Cup, and taking the community to that level whereby the world is watching them.
So someone who really understands the numbers has joined us. Pranav, absolute pleasure that you've joined this session. And Mamba was talking about the potential, right? Even Ajju Bhai alluded to it earlier. But this potential and going out there when franchises like Vishwaloks or something massive happening, even in the tech space, when you have to pitch this to brands because you understand the business of it, has it, I'll tell you what, the growth for YouTubers in the YouTube world was 3x or 10x as compared to a traditional career option, right? In terms of what our parents did. Are you noticing explosive growth in the gaming space because things are moving fast?
Correct. So basically, I come from the entertainment space primarily, right? We were doing influencer marketing, and in the last 2 years, we sort of ventured into gaming. And just to give a quick example of how exponential the growth has been, my company itself has seen like a 700% growth in the last 2 years. So, and moving outside of my company, the conversation has been with brands. There is a bit of a resistance in terms of trying, but there's a lot of chatter and noise and curiosity among brands that what is happening? Can you tell us a bit more about gaming? What is esports? And especially the mainstream brand. And this year has been like a very great year in terms of like the KFCs and like the Pepsis also investing in gamers. Right, so I think in the next 2 years, like gaming is also coming mainstream, and like we're going to see a huge inclusion of brands, pumping in loads of money. And
it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned that, Pranav, because you've been looking at influencers from the lifestyle and moto vloggers and beauty and fashion influencers, and then now you've come into the gaming space, right?
Correct.
Pitching those brands who now a lot of them have not got the same engagement numbers that perhaps a lot of the gamers have, and the communities these gamers have built are far more engaged. Do brands understand that there's a value to pay for the kind of niche communities that Ronnie, Ajju Bhai and the like have built?
Yes, they've started to understand, and especially I feel it all depends upon what sort of a brand manager is sitting across the table, right? And since gaming is, so there's a lot of education that needs to be done. So a lot of the companies like ours, I think our core role becomes education first and then selling. Right, so it's come to a point where we have to tell them the potential, because a lot of time the numbers are good, but they're very resistance. There is a lot of resistance in terms of should we put in this kind of money? They might as well put in X number of money against an entertainer who's been doing this for the last 4 years because they have a certain case study out of that particular person. And this was the similar scenario that we have seen in the influencer marketing space as well, right? In the when we had started, it was the same journey. So for me, I think I know what's going to happen because I've gone through that phase of education, selling, and actual conversion and execution.
So you are confident that gaming is the next big thing, even from an influencer marketing perspective.
For sure, yes.
Fantastic. Ronnie, this is where I want to come to you. When people talk about a career, let's zoom out of esports and say a career in gaming, right? In this ecosystem where you have streaming, you have fantastic dynamic shoutcasters like Mamba, you have guys running franchises like Vishwalok, you have influencer marketing managers like Pranav, and of course you guys at the core being the streamers and the creators. What are the different types of options you would recommend someone young, one of your young followers who really looks up to you? What should he really be considering at this point? And by the way, once Ronnie answers this question, I know a lot of you all have a lot of questions you all are putting in the question box. I will be addressing them. But first, Ronnie, over to you.
So what I honestly feel is the career option that you choose should be something that you enjoy doing. Like the thing that I'm doing today, thankfully, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy making videos. So there is a lot of options in gaming. Just 2 years ago, the options were very limited. It was so limited that the only options you had that would give you an actual career was be a YouTuber, a streamer, or be a caster. And even that wasn't paying you well enough for what you were doing. But today there is so much more options than just that. You can be a gamer, you can be somebody who works in the esports scene. It's a totally different industry. It's where you're just doing more than gaming. I think Mamba and Vishwalok can agree to this. There's like a lot of options like observers. There is something where you are managing the whole tournament. And if you are not into that and you are into the business side, there is so much more into the business side as well. Like there's influencer managers. There is people like Pranav who work with the brands who really, really help us be what we are today. And so the options are unlimited. I think gaming started as something that you did for fun, and it was just streaming or making videos on YouTube, and it's grown into a full ecosystem of its own. So the options are everything. Whatever you like business, there's something in gaming. You love to create content, there's something for you. You love to manage content, there's something for you. You love to produce, you're into the production field, there is something for you. So there's everything for everybody today.
It's interesting, that you draw that comparison. The question that I want to take, the first one, is from Gaurav Bhatti. Gaurav Bhatti, Ajju bhai, aapke liye question hai. He says, what does Ajju bhai feel when he beat Bhuvan Bham on YouTube? तो आपका कुछ मुकाबला हुआ था भुवन भाम के साथ?
सब्सक्राइबर के मामले में जरूर हुआ था, बट पॉपुलैरिटी के मामले में नहीं हुआ था. बिल्कुल अभी तक टच भी वहां तक पहुंची ही नहीं है. लाइक नंबर्स ऐसे है ना कि नंबर्स बहुत जल्दी बढ़े थे, और गेमर्स हम लोग डेली लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग वगैरह करते हैं, तो बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को हमने लॉकडाउन में एंटरटेन किया, तो सब्सक्राइबर्स नंबर बहुत ज्यादा बढ़े. बट एक समय आज से अगर मैं 2 साल पहले देखूं तो मैं भी भुवन बाम को बहुत ज्यादा फॉलो करता था और अभी भी फॉलो करता हूँ. तो कोई कंपटीशन वाली चीज ही नहीं है. और तो मुझे ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा वो अजीब लगता है कि जिसको हम देखते थे उसके साथ ही वो थोड़ा अजीब लगेगा आंसर देने में.
पर ये सवाल अज्जू भाई आपके पास अक्सर आता है ये वाला?
हाँ, बहुत बार आया हुआ है कि कैसा लगता है. मैं बोला यार अभी क्या बोले इसके.
नहीं देखो, ये इंटरेस्टिंग है. I'll tell you why, guys, because even from the vlogging space, the OGs back in the day were Mumbaikar, Nikhil and the like, right? You see the engagement numbers, and I'm a guy who's all about engagement, right? Even on YouTube, Ronnie will understand this. Their numbers are down. Right? They have to do audacious things to get their numbers up. But then you look at a Saurav Joshi vlogs and you see what he's done in the last 10 months. It's phenomenal. Ronnie, I want to come back to you for this, yaar. Do you think that there's this drawing this larger thing, because you understand the YouTube gaming streaming space as well? Is there this age group sort of thing where there's a younger community that's come up in the last 4 or 5 years, which is far more engaged and far more digitally active?
So I think there is no new community actually. I'm making videos since 2017 and 2016, 2015, and every year all your viewers are young. So I have come to the conclusion that all the young people, they're on YouTube. And I have been in situations where I've been on a flight and there have been an air hostess who comes up to me like, "Hey Ronnie, मैं आपको videos देखती थी बचपन में." I'm like, हाँ थोड़ी वो बचपन में देखती थी, मतलब क्या बोल रही है? What do you mean बचपन में देखती थी videos? So I think it's just like that. The younger people are much more engaged and are much more on YouTube who are like engaging into the videos and watching our videos. So yeah.
No, and also, so the question comes to you guys naturally. True gamers asking, what does one need to get new audience on YouTube? I think it's linked to my previous question as well.
What does one need to do?
As a creator or someone who's streaming, what do you need to do to really get more numbers in terms of an audience?
Right. So I feel that if you want to do something on YouTube, the first thing that you need to do is stop thinking about the numbers. Because the day you start looking at the numbers, that is the day you start getting disappointed and you will quit YouTube within a week. Like you will stop doing it within a week. Like stop looking at the number. Look at what you're doing. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of recording a video, doing a live stream, editing it, uploading it, reading the comments, good or bad, looking at the likes, dislike, looking at whatever the views it is and just enjoying it. Just enjoy the process. Just look at the numbers and be positive about it. Even if it's 30 people or 50 people or 100 people, just think about 100 people in a room. It's a big number. I cannot even imagine like 100 people in a room in front of you watching you speak. That is huge. That is very huge for you. But just look at the number in that way and don't look at the numbers first of all. Just create and enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the game. Game yaar, maze karo yaar. Enjoy karo. Khelo. That's it.
Someone who's used to performing in front of numbers is Mamba. I'm guessing Mamba, just like us on TV, you can't get some stage fright. Although there is a sense of butterflies that comes in just absolutely. A few seconds before, which is healthy. But tell me something, what is your day like? If I have to showcase your ideal day, tomorrow you're at ESPL or you're at a major tournament, what does your day look like as a caster?
So it really varies wildly depending on what event it is. Number one, if it's an online event, you mentioned a LAN event, right? But let me start with an online one. So if it's an Indian event, obviously it happens in the evening, late afternoon, evening. So you usually wake up late. Now here's the thing, a lot of times it's frowned upon, but you want to be as fresh as possible for the show. So imagine if my broadcast goes live at 6, I will try and wake up around 3. So that I'm literally in the best possible headspace. I have not dealt with anything in the morning. So I wake up fairly late, do my show, do the rest of the things, delayed, obviously. But at a LAN event, again, it's very different. Again, going back to online, if it's an international event, the timings are quite different. If I'm doing a European event, then maybe you start off somewhere around 10 p.m. So then again, it varies. Finally, you wake up at 6 p.m. and you sleep at 5 in the morning. If it's a LAN event, it really depends on what kind of an event you're doing. It's a studio event or a proper full-fledged stage which is being set up. But on LANs, I think it is quite similar with regards to the fact that you schedule your day in a way where you want to wake up 4 hours prior to the event so that you're just as fresh as possible. And LANs are different because they're much longer. Your commitment, your energy expenditure is also quite different. I'm sure you understand this because it might seem very easy talking for 3 hours, sure. But when you're in front of the camera and when you have to put on a show, I think one of the biggest problems is being in the right headspace, because if you're not in the right headspace, it shows on the camera. And the camera doesn't just look at your face, it looks into your soul. And if you're not in a good headspace, I think that is the hardest part. And that is where most of your energy goes. But an ideal day for me would be just waking up as late as possible, being as fresh as possible, putting up a good show, and just be done with it. That's it. There's no handbook to it, pretty much.
Of course. No, it's interesting because while on paper your career sounds and your day sounds pretty much like mine, in practice it's a lot cooler. So maybe at the end of this conversation we shall switch jobs. That said, I'm going to go to Pranav. Pranav, there's a question which I want to direct to you from Ravi. He says, how early is too early in today's world of gaming and esports? What do you think of age restrictions or age appropriate behavior? You've seen the like, you've seen it from inception till today. Should there be some sort of safeguards, when it comes to age appropriate behavior in the world of gaming and esports?
like when should you join?
To join, should there be some sort of way to regulate the content? Are there any fears? Are there concerns? Do brands ask you these questions as well? Because it's uncharted territory for a lot of people.
For sure. So I believe, like, of course, majority of the gamers that are there in the Indian community are pretty young. Like everyone's, I believe, 22, 23 and under, right? So I believe, like, in terms of audience, like it's a huge responsibility on a very young guy, because these guys have like tens and 20 millions of followers, and at a very young age to sort of understand that kind of a responsibility is a task. And hence, like, people like us sort of come into the picture to sort of tell them that so when it comes to brand friendly behavior, majorly what the brands are focusing right now is it shouldn't be much abusive, right? Rather, its age has not, like, at least I have not come across a question like how young is this gamer, right? But of course, if it's a Gillette, right? If it's not going to come to like a 16-year-old gamer, even though he has 30 million followers, right? It's not going to come to him. You need to have a beard or something. So it's a very brand focused. Would be ideally just not be abusive and just
Very quickly, Pranav, I want to just follow up with you, and then I'm going to move on to Vishwalok. Essentially, what I want to ask you was, when you, as a manager, like, we have talent managers in the media world, Mambal know all about it as well, even in television and broadcast, in sports management. But then when a young gamer, young impressionable mind, like you're saying, in his teens or early 20s, comes to a manager, right? In the football and cricket world, young sportsmen was always wary of the kind of manager they got, because they could skyrocket their career or it could spiral down based on that decision. What are the 2 or 3 things as a young gamer, if I'm making it big, I've gone viral, and you approach me, what are the 3 things that I should hope for in a manager who will make my career for me?
Not sign the contract the moment a manager approaches you or you approach a manager. That's one. Second of all, always do your background check. Go to all the other people that the particular manager is representing, what sort of work. There has to be a proper due diligence done on that person, right? Because a lot of time what happens is you might see these managers having a lot of followers, and you might think that, okay, it's super, it's nice, this guy is legit or anything like that, but the background story might be completely different, right? So don't be like, okay, this guy is looking legit on social media, so the person is legit. So I've seen a lot of bigger corporations also, just because they have a star talent with them, and a lot of the smaller talents just getting associated with them because they have a star talent with them. And later they realize that the entire focus of that organization was just on the star talent, and they have been spending the next 2 years getting neglected. Yes. So if you have to make them work for you, because if you are important as a small creator for an organization, they will chase you. So it has to be a long process. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, wow, this big of an organization has approached me, I should just sign off the paper. Everything looks good, they have the biggest talents with them. It should be a proper due diligence done.
Very quickly, Ajju bhai, आपके तो करोड़ों फॉलोअर हैं, आपको कभी ऐसे नहीं लगा कि नहीं यार, मुझे थोड़ा सा ब्रांड एंडोर्समेंट, जब प्रणव मुझे पूछेगा तो एक अच्छी ब्रांड कोलैबोरेशन कर लूं, चेहरा दिखाना पड़ेगा, उन करोड़ों फॉलोअर के लिए करोड़ों रुपए भी मिलेंगे, आपको कभी नहीं लगा कि मैनेजर रख लूं एक?
We represent total game.
I know you, but did he ever, आपको नहीं लगा कि नहीं यार, मुझे बंदा चाहिए जो ये मैनेज करे? या आपको लगा, पर आप तो must be difficult, no, Pranav, to sell Total in terms of a brand, right? Because he's not willing to come on air.
Yeah. So definitely the amount of money that we have said no to, it's insane. So but definitely there are other bigger opportunities, and Ajju, I feel, is a very humble guy and doesn't chase a lot of money that way. So it works just fine in tune, and he has bigger dreams and ambitions on the esports organization bit. So I think it works fairly, and that could be ideally run without showing your face. So
very quickly, everyone on the panel, with a quick show of hands, who has seen Ajju bhai's face? Okay, I haven't. I was just okay, fine, fair enough. So even the manager hasn't, fair enough. So I'm not feeling a sense of FOMO. Vishwalok, moving on to you now. When you're planning something like this at a media network, let's leave the media network out of it. But when you're planning something at the scale of a World Cup, so to speak, in the world of esports, right? You have an India, Pakistan, Nepal, some staunch, strong rivalries out there. And you're doing this in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot of viewership and interest. I've seen on the network also people have been very interested with it. How I was asking Mamba what his day is like. So how would you go about this? How do you plan this? And then people tuned in, where do they fit in with different profiles?
So, post ESPL, the level that we have set up for ourselves is like anyways very big. Like, we did ESPL with 1 million registration, and now like it was 100 million. Now it has crossed 125 million video views, right? So the level that we have set up for ourselves is very, very big. So definitely, I mean, we are very, very about that we definitely need to cross that level, right? And create a different milestone altogether for this. And the countries that we have chosen, like India, Pakistan, and Nepal, and particularly I talk about India versus Pakistan, and with India losing T20 World Cup recently, and Pakistan actually beat us. We immediately started a campaign called Badle Ka Mauka. Because this is actually a badle ka mauka for the Indians, that now they can actually take up Pakistan in this tournament, right? So when we talk about our day, we definitely first see that the way our site is, the way the registrations are happening, the way we are communicating it to the community, and the social media, the marketing, everything has to be perfect. We are reaching out to all the people who are like concerned about Free Fire and who are watching this kind of a tournament. Secondly, talking to the production team. So for example, we are currently working on how the overall broadcast is going to look like, right? It has to be world class. It has to be like, if it's a country level, international tournament happening, there's going to be a lot of global audiences also watching us. ESPL was great. Like the production quality was very good. We are now working on the production quality, which is going to be much better than even ESPL, right? So with the production quality, how it is going to look like, the studio, the way the production is going to happen, everything, like, the 3D and the augmented reality, we are going to be integrating many new things, right? Then talking about, the shoutcasters, the people who would be actually, talking about this event, and because they are the face of it, right? Who are the people who are going to be actually, representing this overall event? Needs to be chosen, right? So the overall, it's like if you would have the way any World Cup preparation would be required to be done, right? That is how we are working towards it, from production to marketing to final execution to choosing of the people, everything. It has to be perfect. And then at the end of the day, it is, India versus Pakistan versus Nepal. We also need to ensure that, the admins, people who would be ensuring that everything is fair play, right? Nobody is like doing any kind of cheating or anything of that sort, right? So we are working very closely with Garena to ensure that, once the tournament starts happening, because now currently the registration phase is there, then after that, the tournament will start, that, each and every game, everything has to be fair, and only the right set of people are moving towards representing the countries, because at the end of the day, there are 4 teams from each country who's going to be representing their countries, and then the tournament is going to happen, which is going to be versus all the countries.
Anjuba, it's interesting. मैं आपसे एक सवाल करना चाहता था about फिजिकल हेल्थ एंड मेंटल हेल्थ। जो एक ई स्पोर्ट्स का एथलीट होता है, जो बंदा ई स्पोर्ट्स या गेमिंग में भी स्ट्रीमिंग, आई थिंक इट्स अ होल बुके ऑफ थिंग्स, राइट? स्ट्रीमिंग भी करते हैं अक्सर प्रोफेशनली। उनके लिए जैसे आप अपनी स्ट्रीम लगाते हैं और कभी-कभी टूर्नामेंट्स में भी भाग लेते हैं आप, तो आप अपनी फिजिकल और मेंटल हेल्थ का देखभाल कैसे करते हैं?
लाइक अपन ने कभी छलांगे मार ली, छलांग मारना हम गुजराती में बोलते हैं, जिससे कूदना बोलते हैं, जिसे हिंदी में कूदना बोलते हैं, कूद लिया है, फिर मतलब वो वजन उठाने, मतलब वजन आता है, वेट उठाने के लिए चीजें आती है, वो सब पड़ी हुई है तो वो उठा लेते हैं। उसके अलावा खाने पीने में थोड़ा फोकस करते हैं जिससे तबीयत खराब ना हो, और उसके अलावा अगर बाकी तो कोई चीज की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। और मेंटली तो आप तभी टॉर्चर होगे जब आप कुछ ऐसी चीज करोगे। बाकी गेम के अंदर ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं है कि जिससे आपका मेंटल हेल्थ इतना ज्यादा खराब हो।
I just want to add to this one thing. I'm sorry, Ayush, but this is something that I've been noticing quite often. And there was an article on Life Mint as well about this, that a career in gaming does not have to end in burnout. And this is something I talked on my own podcast along with a friend of mine that we run. So I think more than physical, because physical health is still easier to take care of, but what is really difficult is managing your burnout. And what is even more difficult is realizing when you're burnt out. Now, I can give an anecdote from my personal life. 2015 to 2019, I was in college. So my last vacation was in 2015, and the next vacation was straight after 5 years in 2020. Between those 5 years is when I built my casting career. So I transitioned from being a professional player to a caster. Now the problem was I was also a student. So juggling between the both, I somehow figured that I just couldn't focus on my mental health. And the problem was I did not realize it was burnout. And I only realized that after I came back from the vacation where I had a week of no phone, no technology, absolutely nothing, and I felt recharged and I saw my productivity skyrocket after a month. But realizing when you're burnt out, right, is something that a lot of people need to focus on, because burnout is spreading like a plague in esports, because it's an industry which is very fast paced. It requires a lot of dedication, and this is something that I would really appreciate people having a conversation on, because it is very, very important.
No, I've noticed this, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. And Ronnie, not just esports, right? Even in the streaming space, this is something where we've seen, even before streaming, actually, even the vloggers and all creative people, right? All of us in the creative world, content creators, do go through this, what Mamba is talking about. Is there some way for us, especially those in the world of gaming, to avoid this or be able to deal with it in a more healthy manner?
So I think the only way to deal with it is taking a break. Like the way we work, we don't have fixed hours. Like if you work in an office, you have a fixed time. You start in the morning, you end in the evening, you get weekends off. We don't get that. We don't have weekends off. We don't work on a fixed time. Sometimes sometimes I start working at 10 a.m. in the morning and I'm working till like 6 a.m. in the morning till the next day. So it's very important to understand, as Mamba said, ki when the burnout has come, when you are like mentally in that state that you have worked too much and you really need a break. So I think in that situation, just take a break. Jao, maze karo. Just stop everything. I like to do this whenever I want a break. I take my phone, switch it off, keep it to a corner. Everybody gets worried कि Ronnie कहाँ गायब हो गया है. Everybody just gets lost कि Ronnie किधर है. I just do that. I turn off my PC, switch off my phone, and I'm lost. I'm gone. Nobody knows where I am. I'm gone for like few days and then I'm back. Like okay. I'm good to work now.
I would like to add one thing here, Ayush. I visited a couple of gaming houses. So one of the gaming house where I went to, it was a fantastic looking place, and they had a pool. They had they had their own cook preparing healthy foods for them. In fact, they also had a dog, right? And when I talked to them, and they said that they have been working like 12 to 14 hours, 16 hours at a stretch at times, and streaming and shoutcasting and doing all those kinds of things, and all in front of screen. So when they feel like that kind of a burnout, they just take a break. They chill out with by taking a dip in the pool. They chill out with the dog. In fact, they are also creating some content with the pet, right? So I think these guys really need to work on that, and a proper kind of schedule needs to be maintained, starting with healthy food and some kind of exercise, some kind of maybe yoga or meditation. All of that needs to be included in the routine, because otherwise this looks very cool, this is very cool, but working all the time with your headphones on, working all the time in front of the screen is very stressful, right? Which before you realize, you actually go into that stage where you can actually burn out.
अज्जू भाई, आप अपना चेहरा तो रिवील नहीं कर रहे, लेकिन रेडियो के जमाने में, मैंने रेडियो भी किया है पहले, तो रेडियो के जमाने में आप बताएं कि आप अभी विश्वलोक सर तो बोल रहे थे ना कि खाने पीने का भी आपको देखभाल, मतलब आई यू टू टेक केयर ऑफ इट, राइट? तो आप जब उठते हो तो आपकी डाइट कैसे होती है पूरे दिन? अज्जू भाई के प्लेट पे क्या होता है?
सुबह एक तो लाइक चाय पी लिया, उसके बाद खाना तो कुछ खाता नहीं, क्योंकि सुबह में मतलब खाना वगैरह वो मजा नहीं आता। चाय पी के निकल लो, फिर 12:30-1 बजे तक सभी लोग ऑफिस के अंदर बैठते हैं कि यार चलो खाना जाना है, तो साथ में खाना खा लिया। और कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स वगैरह मेरे को पहले से नहीं पसंद है, कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स वगैरह तो मैं नाम का भी नहीं पीता, और ठंडी चीजें मेरे को नहीं पसंद है, तो मैं दूर ही रहता हूँ। आइसक्रीम है तो मेरे लिए वो एक फायदे में रहता है कि मेरा गला कभी खराब नहीं होता है। तो खाना खा लिया और उसके बाद वापिस से काम पे आ गए। फिर जैसे 4-4:30 बजे 5 बजे तो कुछ ना कुछ नाश्ता हो जाता है लाइक खाने के लिए, कि भाई कोई लेके आ गया तो वहां पे जाके उसके साथ जो भी कुछ लाइक वड़ा पाव होता है वो सब नॉर्मली जो चलता रहता है ऑफिस के अंदर, वो सब खाना खाया। एंड उसके बाद रात को 8-8:30 बजे या 9 बजे या तो कई बार 10 भी बज जाते हैं, तो जब सभी लोग खाना खाने के लिए जाते हैं, ग्रुप है हम लोगों का 4 लोगों का, जब वो लोग खाना खाने के लिए जाते हैं सब साथ में चले जाते हैं। वापिस से खाना खा लिया और काम पे बैठ गए, फिर सो गए, तो सुबह में फिर वापिस से वही रूटीन स्टार्ट हो जाता है।
कितने बजे सोते हो आप?
मतलब डिसाइड नहीं है। अगर मैंने जो मेरे साथ काम करते उसको मैंने बोला कि यार भाई प्लीज कल सुबह सोने देना मेरे को, तू इतने बजे जगा देगा, तो वो बोलेगा अलार्म लगा ले, और उसको मैंने मना लिया हो कि यार भाई जगा देगा, प्लीज जगा देना, तो फिर मैं सुबह 12:30 बजे तक सोता रहेगा, अगर वो जगाने के लिए मना नहीं करेगा तो। बट अगर अलार्म से जागना रहेगा तो फिर तो उसके साथ ही 7 बजे में उठ जाएगा या 6 बजे उठ जाएगा, तू तब मेरे को साइड पे हाथ मार देना, मैं उठ जाऊंगा, क्योंकि मेरे को अलार्म नहीं सुनाई देता है।
No, you know, it's interesting, Ajju bhai. Mamba, the reason I was trying to document all of this is because I was trying to veer this panel to understand what are these careers and lives in the gaming and esports space like, right? We're talking about physical and mental health and stuff like that, and it's very important things to talk about. But that's where Ronnie's words of wisdom come in handy, where he said, take a break. And that holds true. It's golden words for all of us in all our careers. But I think this is since it's a very nascent industry, it's good to have these checks and balances early on.
It is. But here's the thing, okay? I want to highlight a couple of things, right? There's the glorious side of gaming and esports, and it's a lot of fun. It is very cool, and a lot of young impressionable kids look up to us and like, hey man, you know what? I want to do this. But there are a couple of things which really sometimes, instead of being something that drives you, is what holds you back. And one of them is this entire hustle mentality, especially in the young generation, right? So the problem with this is in India, right, there's this social stigma that you're dealing with. Number one, you're trying to create a career in gaming, which is hard in itself. So when you do, if you manage to create a career in gaming, well and good, but if you don't, you're not just dealing with the repercussions of failure, but you're also dealing with the repercussions of the social stigma. That's number one, which is something that I wanted to highlight. Number two, especially when you're a freelancer, when you're doing something for yourself, it's really difficult to take a break. And this is something I've struggled with a lot, because you have this guilt that comes in from somewhere. You feel like you're not working hard enough, but the reality is something very, very different. I'm sure Ronnie realizes this because he's a content creator and he will always feel the urge to push himself. And this is where you need to really have a conversation with yourself. Am I working hard enough? Is this okay? That is when it starts becoming very toxic. And the most important bit that I want to talk about, right, is your social life takes a hit. Esports and gaming in general, right? If you are in the content space or in the professional side of things, your social life will definitely take a hit, especially in esports, because most of the tournaments happen on weekends. And I'm giving you very generalized examples so that it's easier to understand. And let's put it in the perspective of with regards to somebody who's working a normal 9 to 5. They're only free on weekends. Weekends is when you have most of the tournaments. I've had instances where I've had to miss my cousin's engagement because I had a tournament that day. This weekend itself, I had 3 tournaments and my cousin's getting married. Obviously, I'm not going to miss the marriage, but the point I'm trying to make over here is that your social life, that maintaining that balance is near impossible. And this is where it's a very long conversation, but these are the things that need to be highlighted as well, that it's not all glorious. There's a lot of dirty work as well that you need to do, and most of it you're going to be alone dealing with it in your own room in the darkness of the night, but it is something that needs to be highlighted.
Very interesting. All the glitz and glamour of esports and gaming aside, there is a flip side, and the hustle culture isn't really helping all of us youngsters trying to make a name in the content world and especially in the gaming world. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to all of you. Ajju bhai, मजा आया, आप चेहरा दिखा देते तो और मजा आता, सच्ची बात बता रहा हूँ।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। और हाँ, मैं ना एक मेंटली, जो अपन लोग मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में बातचीत कर रहे थे, उसके बारे में मैं थोड़ी मेरी साइड से मैं बताता हूँ। लाइक कि जैसे सभी प्लेयर्स गेम खेलते, जैसे बातचीत अभी हुई कि सोशल मीडिया से बहुत ज्यादा हेट वगैरह मतलब वो सब होता है, बट मेरी साइड से वो सीन ही नहीं है। तो मैंने कभी ये मेंटल लाइफ मतलब जो मेंटल हेल्थ होता है उसको खराब होते देखा ही नहीं है। जब मैं स्ट्रीमिंग करता हूँ तब मैं हूँ, उसके बाद स्ट्रीमिंग करते करते जो कमेंट रीड किए तो अच्छे अच्छे कमेंट होते रीड कर लिए, उसके बाद वो सब मैं नहीं देखता। लाइक अगर आपका फेस रिवील है तो आपको कोई दो गाली देता भी है ना तो आपको अपने ऊपर लगती है, बट यहाँ पे मेरी साइड पे फेस ही नहीं है। तुम गाली दे रहे हो, मैंने स्ट्रीम खत्म करी, मैं फ्री हूँ, मैं अपने पास में कहीं पे भी जाऊंगा, कोई मेरे को ये नहीं बोलेगा और अज्जू भाई क्या गालियां खाया आज, वो कोई सीन नहीं है। लाइक मैं गया मतलब खाना वाना खाया, खाना खा रहे, कोई जानता नहीं अज्जू भाई कौन है। मैं जब गेम खेलता हूँ तब उस टाइम पे मुझे लोग जान रहे कि अज्जू भाई है, जो मेरे को देख रहे हैं, और जिसने मेरे को देखा हुआ है वो नहीं जानते कि ये अज्जू भाई है। जो अज्जू भाई जानते हैं वो मेरे को नहीं जानते। तो ये मेरे को बहुत ज्यादा फायदे में चीज रहती है। तो मेंटल हेल्थ मेरी कभी भी खराब नहीं होती है। और जब आप पॉजिटिव काम करते हो, जैसे आप लोगों को हेल्प कर रहे हो, कोई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर लीव कर रहा है तो उसको बोल रहे हो कि यार तुम ये कर लो, मैं करता हूँ तुम्हारे लिए चीज। और आप जब पॉजिटिव चीजें करते जाते हो ना तो आपको फिर ये नेगेटिव चीजें होती है वो दिखती नहीं, मतलब आपके उसके अंदर ही दिमाग में ही नहीं आती है। तो ये फायदा होता है। तो यही है कि
I think to summarize जो अज्जू भाई कह रहे हैं कि I think there is positive and negative in everything, not just social media, not just YouTube, not just esports. No matter whatever you are doing, there's positive and negative everywhere, and it depends on you what you choose to pick. नेगेटिविटी हर जगह से आएगी, बस पॉजिटिव को देखो, नेगेटिव को भूल जाओ। ऐसा यहाँ से लेने का यहाँ से निकाल देने का बस।
और बट ऐसा है ना,
देखो खुश रहो, बस खुद खुश रहो, तुम्हारे आसपास के लोग भी खुश रहेंगे, तुम भी खुश रहोगे, तुम भी सही रहोगे, बस मजे करो, खुश रहो, पॉजिटिविटी देखो, look at the positive side of everything.
Boys, we can go on forever, but we have to call it a day on this conversation. It was getting really interesting. Pranav, thanks for joining us. Vishwalok, what a pleasure.
Thank you.
Mama, Ronnie, it's been an absolute pleasure. And Ajju bhai, even though we don't have a face, it was the most entertaining conversation with you as well. So thanks so much. Guys, at IGDC, a huge shout out and thank you to you for making this happen. And let's build on these conversations like we were just having, and stay tuned to the rest of the event. And we're going to see you very, very soon. Thanks for watching.